I'm Dave Baker.
And I'm Andrew Price.
Welcome to Deep Cuts, the podcast where we pick a topic and walk you through the ins, the outs, and the nitty-gritty so that you can appear like an interesting and idiosyncratic person at your next forced social function. Today's topic is...
Vince Offer, aka the ShamWow guy.
Who is Vince Offer? Well, if you watched any television in the late 2000s, you undoubtedly saw Vince hawk a product called ShamWow, a super absorbent towel. His abrasive, enthusiastic personality might have made him an instant icon, but his frequent lawsuits, a scandal with a sex worker, and an anti-woke podcast absolutely deserve to be mentioned in the same breath as his iconic product, the ShamWow. Act 1. An offer the world should have refused. Vince Offer was born Offer Shlomi in Beersheba, Israel, on April 25th, 1964. He was raised by a single mother and immigrated to Brooklyn, New York at a young age, being raised in a predominantly Jewish and Italian neighborhood. He'd later talk about how the people he was around as a child influenced his comedic style, how everyone was crude and made a bunch of dick jokes. He also had a fascination with Crazy Eddie, a series of commercials that were local to the area, which starred Jerry Carroll as a crazy guy hooking up products for an electronics store called Crazy Eddie.
It's not the 4th of July, it's not Thanksgiving, it's not even Christmas. It's better than all those. It's Crazy Eddie Day. You'll save money like never before during Crazy Eddie's Crazy Eddie Day sale with the guaranteed lowest prices on anything and everything in home entertainment. Shop around, get the lowest sale prices you can find, then go to Crazy Eddie and he'll beat them. It's Crazy Eddie Day. Save big bucks during Crazy Eddie's Crazy Eddie Day sale. Crazy Eddie, his prices are insane.
Oh my god.
Thanks a lot.
Better.
Here's the thing. First of all, I love Crazy Eddie. And I'm not saying that like I'm familiar with Crazy Eddie and like I'm a fan of him or whatever. That's the first time I've ever seen that. I'm just saying now, in the moment, I love Crazy Eddie. I love that guy. I love that trope. It's so funny to me, the idea that like when you're, coming up with a sales pitch and the sales pitch is like the prices are so cheap and the only reason why I'm offering them this low is because I've lost my mind. Like I'm fucking insane. That is such a funny sales pitch to me. And it's also just not anything that we do anymore. Like that you don't have Crazy Eddies anymore. Like that's not a thing. Now it's just like, you sell your shit with like weird postmodern commercials featuring like a talking lizard or whatever, or like, just some weird absurdist little skit that happens. You never have just the earnestness of somebody just being like, I'm fucking insane. It's also, the third thing about it is like, that is so arch and like the most logical extreme of that trope. Like you've seen that parodied in like cartoons and TV shows and stuff like that. Like you'll see in a cartoon or a movie or whatever. The one that's coming to mind is that in the Brave Little Toaster, they have a crazy guy offering great deals on a commercial thing in that. And when you see it in a movie or a TV show or whatever, it feels like it's like the most extreme parody of it. But that's just as extreme as any parody I've ever seen. Like it's just the most extreme version of it possible.
If you told me that was a deleted scene from Fridays, that Saturday Night Live ripoff variety show, I would have believed it.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a parody of the trope of this, and that the real one would be like not quite as over the top, but it just straight up was.
Yeah, it's one thing to do it to that degree. It's another thing to end with a pump in the fucking face.
I mean, and we haven't even gotten into this story yet at all, but you can see the lineage of this inspiring that type of thing, inspiring the ShamWow guy and the way he delivered his product pitches and other infomercial pitchmen of like the 2000s and stuff. Like you totally see that lineage of like, let's take this most extreme over the top performance trope of just I'm screaming into the camera. I'm not even talking about like the quality or anything specific about the product. I'm just like grabbing your attention with an insane performance. And then I'm just focusing on this one singular idea, which is the prices are so good that I'm fucking crazy. And then you see like that taken and used in what the ShamWow guy ends up becoming.
Offer dropped out of high school at 17 years old and moved from New York to Los Angeles to pursue a career in the entertainment industry, which is when he changed his name to something slightly more marketable. But no one becomes a star overnight. When he arrived in the 80s, Vince got a public access slot that was filled with sketches no one saw because, well, it's public access. To actually make some money, Vince sold an early version of the Slap Chop food chopper at flea markets, which would become the subject of one of his future infomercials. He did reasonably well with the effort, and by the mid-90s, he had scrounged up enough money to go from public access to the big screen. Or at least that was the hope. The film was titled The Underground Comedy Movie, and was basically just a bunch of repurposed scenes he had filmed during his time on public access. But the result wasn't very good, to be charitable. Guy walking across the street and he just smacks a guy with his briefcase.
It's way too long of a shot of this.
Yeah.
What is nothing has happened so far.
And then the guy on the exterior of the bank puts up a sign that says Sperm Bank. Definitely.
Hello, honey. Give me all your money.
What? There's no money
He's
here.
Robbing
the
a sperm
You
bank.
got no cash?
No.
Suffer and fucking cash.
This is a sperm bank.
Give me all your semen, and there'll be no screaming.
Nurse, the magazines just aren't working anymore. The room's totally.
Why does this look like a
uncomfortable.
porno? That's my
Lay
real
down your
question.
seat, or I'll make you bleed. Oh.
There's your answer right there, baby boy.
Pimple face. I'll take you to the other place.
A guy just for no reason whatsoever just like started sucking on his gun.
Famous rhymer guy?
Hey, I don't got a lot of time. I'm running out of rhymes.
Oh my god.
This is unreal. It's like better than it should be, but also worse.
Yeah, I don't even. Here's the thing, Dave. I don't even know if I have like the words to like really unpack how I feel about what we just saw. Well, okay, so first of all, have you ever heard of this?
No, I have never heard of this, which is kind of surprising to me because this seems like the type of thing I would have heard about. Like, oh yeah, did you know the ShamWow guy secretly hosted like a weird underground public access show and made terrible art? No, I was not familiar with this, but I'm very excited about the fact that we just witnessed his definitely not porno.
Yeah. So I have heard of this movie. I never knew until recently, learning about this guy's weird coda of his life, and making the connection that he was the guy who made this movie. But I was aware of this movie, because I feel like I've gone into this lore a little bit on the show, but my grandparents owned a small grocery store in our town in New Mexico. I lived back and forth between a couple different towns in New Mexico. Mostly I lived in Roswell, but I also lived in this other town that was probably about 40 minutes away called Dexter, New Mexico. And my grandparents owned a little grocery store there, and there was a video rental section. So there was like a lot of weird movies that I was kind of familiar with and I would see. And this is one of them. I never watched it, but I definitely like saw the cover of it and was kind of like aware of it as one of those weird like sketch comedy, like purposely shocking, raunchy movies. Like Kentucky Fried Movie or any of those types of things. And I never watched it because it looked pretty bad from the cover and like the back of it, and maybe I saw a trailer at some point. But the thing I was thinking about whenever I was looking into the story and kind of learning about it is why is there that specific type of movie? There's like this specific type of movie which is a raunchy sketch comedy movie, and they're all kind of the same thing. It's like Kentucky Fried Movie, this one, that movie 43 that came out in like 2012
like
or something like that.
Movie 43.
Yeah, and there's another one that came out more recently. But it's like, what is up with that? What is up with that trope of like, we're gonna make a vignette sketch movie, and the purpose of it, it's not just a vignette sketch movie, but the purpose of it is like we're intentionally trying to do over the top shocking humor, where like the movie 43, one of the things was like Gerard Butler was playing like a little person, and the whole thing was about how he was like a little person, and everybody was like making like, you know, midget jokes and stuff like that, like really like shocking, like, you know, short people humor. And it's like, that's like the selling point of it is like, we go there and all this. And it's just, but then you watch it and it's like just not funny at all. It's just really like cringeworthy. And I never watched movie 43. Like I never sat down and watched it purposely, but I worked in a movie theater when it came out and I saw several parts of it. And it was just like, what the fuck is this? This is bad.
Is the idea with those movies like we are either a troupe of filmmakers or an individual who has a series of transgressive ideas, but we can't really build a movie out of one of those ideas because the ideas themselves are so transgressive that it's hard to get the money for it. So if we make it piecemeal over time, or if we spread those ideas out and make it even weirder and less commercial, somehow that's safer. Like, I don't understand it either. I don't
I don't understand the trope, and it would be weird enough if it was one movie, but the fact that there are multiple movies like this that have this exact same playbook just always has baffled me. And they're never good. They're always like really bad. And they become like notorious for how bad they are. Like whenever movie 43 came out, everyone was like, this fucking sucks. And the selling point of that one, as opposed to this one, was that it was a vignette sketch comedy, raunchy, offensive humor movie that was like stunt casted with a bunch of huge movie stars, and that was like the selling point.
Yeah, it was also directed by a bunch of people too, right? Like that one's more like a bunch of short films strung together, as opposed to a single creative vision making iterative things on a specific comedic topic.
There was another one, I think it was called The 10. And that one was made by the State people. It was like all the vignettes were directed by like David Wayne and Michael Showalter, and like Paul Rudd was in it. And that one, I didn't see that one either because this is just not my type of thing. But that one's supposedly a lot better than these because it's made by an actual funny sketch comedy group, as opposed to this fucker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just odd that there's like that type of movie, and I just don't know who that is for. Like, what audience is that for?
Like, you and I are both comedy dorks, and I don't like those movies.
Yeah, and I love sketch comedy. I've done tons of sketch comedy on stage. I've shot like hundreds of sketch comedy videos. I like sketch comedy movies, like the Kids in the Hall movie, which is also kind of a vignette of a bunch of different sketches, but they're all connected and they have like a storyline to them. Or Monty Python, not Holy Grail or Life of Brian, because those are just movies, but The Meaning of Life, which is a series of different sketches that are interconnected. Like, I love movies like that. Or the most recent Please Don't Destroy movie that they made for Peacock. But this type of thing where it's like they're just a bunch of like disconnected sketches, and the whole joke of all of them is like, how shocking and offensive can we be? I'm just like, who watches?
Yeah, who cares
this?
about
who
this?
Who cares about this?
Yeah.
Other than like somebody who's just like really going out of their way to try to like seem like they're into shocking, edgy stuff. Like,
Not
who
me.
the fuck watches this?
Not me. Juggalos, maybe?
Yeah. This is for the Juggalos. They made this movie for the Juggalos. But also, like, let's talk about that actual sketch. And this is where I said I don't know if I even have the vocabulary to like articulate how I feel about that. Because it's like you said, it's like weirdly high quality in terms of like the polish of it. Like it's well shot, but it's well shot to the level of being a really high production value porno. Like, it doesn't look like a movie. It looks like a particularly good
like they
porno.
shot it in a porn set. Like, it looks like they went to, like, Reseda and, like, shot it in one of those standing porno sets.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if this is offensive to say, but, like, the actors look like they're porn actors.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, but I agree.
But they look like they're porn actors.
Yeah, this guy looks like a porno actor.
The sketch feels like it's written by, like, the unfunniest person you've ever met who a bunch of dumb people have told is hilarious their entire lives, and they've created this false sense of arrogance that they are hilarious, but they are just like the unfunniest person in the world. And so you have like this sketch concept that is just baffling in how many layers of unfunny it is, where it's like, okay, the pun, he tries to rob a bank, but it's a sperm bank. Okay, like that's the game of the sketch.
And he's like a clown that's kind of like the Joker, but he rhymes everything. And it's obvious that they're trying to do like a Looney Tunes thing, which is why he says suffering succotash, but also like it's not funny. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird.
And then on top of that, so it's like it's this stupid, unfunny premise of like, what if a bank robber tried to rob a sperm bank? They don't actually do anything with that premise. As unfunny as that premise is, if you were going to do that premise of a bank robber accidentally robs a sperm bank, number one, there's too many things going on. It's a hat on a hat. It would need to be a regular bank robber trying to rob a bank, and then it turns out it's a sperm bank. And then the game of the sketch should be like him fumbling with like, oh God, like, and then like the person like being like, just give me everything you have in the vault or whatever. And they're like, okay, whatever you say. And then they just hand him like a vat of cum, and he's just like, oh God, what do you want me to do with this? And there's like, you said you wanted it.
I like that you're trying to plus this thing when it's dog shit, dude.
Yeah, but if you were going to do the premise, it would need to be something like that. You have to play with the world of a bank robber trying to rob a bank, but it's actually a sperm bank. And what are the little zany mishaps that would come as a result of that?
He thinks he's going into the vault to get the money, and he's going into a room where the guy is trying to give a sperm donation, and he like is confused why the guy is jerking off, and the guy jerks off on him. Right?
Exactly. You know? Yeah, stuff like that. But they don't do that. It's literally just he walks in and he's like, wait, this is a sperm bank? Well, then give me your sperm. And it's like, what? Why would a bank robber want the sperm? Like, what does that mean? Like, and then on top of that, he's also like a weird parody of the Joker or the Riddler or something like that. And then he's also on top of that, like saying suffering succotash, and like why is he talking like that? And then on top of that, on top of all of those like half-baked comedy attempts and like a really misfired sketch premise, on top of that, it's also just a bunch of like idiot goofballs like trying to like improv on top of that sketch premise with like weird little like raunchy things, like the guy that walks in and he just starts like sucking on the guy's gun for no reason, and it's like, and that's like, this is what your like most unfunny cousin would think is hilarious, of like, what if I walked into the room and you were like robbing the bank and then I just like started like sucking off your gun? Like, that's hilarious, right? It's like I'm going to use a term. I hesitate to use this term because this is your term. You've thoroughly claimed it, but this is a Mobius strip of like the unfunniest shit you've ever heard of in your life.
The rest of these sketches are pretty much exactly like this, completely squandering the talents of such notable actors as Michael Clark Duncan, who's inexplicably in the film, alongside Slash from Guns N' Roses and Joey Buttafuoco, despite this one being convicted of rape of a minor. But mostly, the film was a chance for Vince to show off his quote-unquote talents, as he served as writer, director, and actor in many of the sketches. It was roundly panned by critics, and has since been dubbed as one of the worst movies ever made. But according to Vince, it was good enough for Peter and Bobby Fairley to rip off for their film There's Something About Mary. Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure.
this is the big thing. This is like one of the big things is that he claimed that they stole his sketch ideas for There's Something About Mary. And there was a lawsuit about it. And they were just like, the Farrelly brothers were basically like, what? Like, who are you? I've never seen your stupid movie. like say what you want about the Farrelly brothers, but like their movies are movies. Like they might not be your cup of tea. You might not think they're hilarious, but you watch them and you're like, yeah, this is something that people would think was funny. That was like your most unfunny uncle if he was given $300,000, who like fancies himself a stand-up comic because everybody at his fucking accounting firm thinks he's hilarious.
Vince claims that in 1996 he gave a rough cut of the film that was 80% finished to Guy Oseary of Maverick Records to get it to his friend, Ben Stiller, to play a role in one of the few remaining sketches. He claims that he then met Stiller at a party after the fact, who allegedly confirmed receiving the tape. Vince filed a lawsuit against 20th Century Fox and the Farrelly brothers for allegedly stealing 14 jokes from the underground comedy movie for There's Something About Mary. Among the scenes and characters he claims the Farrellys stole from him, and this is all a quote, it's not us saying it,
the scene of Seaman's Hollywood debut, shown satirically on Hair and Face, a serial killer with a twitch who talks gibberish, a psychologist more concerned with his meal than with his patient, the showing and use of prosthetic testicles in satirical testicular self-injury, and the cookie scene, which Offer said is taken verbatim from underground comedy movie.
Hey guys, I thought you might like some food with your beers.
Yes, indeed. Ted, help yourself. You know, I don't think I'm going to have one. Thanks, though.
Really?
No, you don't want one? No.
What do you want? You want something else?
Mm-hmm.
No, come on. You want something to eat?
Not hungry.
No? You sure you want a cookie? No, something like that? Honey, we got cookies.
No, we don't, but you know, I could bake some.
No, don't bake any.
No, that's a
Come
good
on.
idea. Why don't you run in and bake some? Bake some Toll Houses.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Yeah. Chocolate chip or butterscotch.
Let's go with the chocolate chip.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Sounds
really,
good.
you know, it's...
No, it's
no,
fine.
That's good.
And then this is, I guess, the scene where this is supposed to be similar to from the underground comedy movie.
Milk and cookies. How's the milk and cookies? You got to get it.
No, it's fine.
I'll go get them for you.
Go get 'em.
Vinny, you want them? I'll go get them.
Oh, no, I just ate at the airport. I ate her.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
No, I have no problem going in and getting them for you.
No, but thanks, though. Thanks.
Sure, all right.
It's fine.
I'll go get them for you. We made some good stuff. Let me go in.
No, really. I mean, it's fine.
I'll go inside. Let me go inside. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Let me just bring it out. I think it'll be nice. Everybody relaxes.
Okay.
Let me go get them for you. I think it's the right thing to do. Let me get the milk and cookies.
No, it's all right.
Let me go get you the cookies. Let me go.
No, really. You know, I've eaten already.
She ate
I'm
already.
fine.
He ate already. Let me go get you the cookies and milk. Let me go get you the cookies and milk. Yes.
I have a couple bites. Sure.
You can't, a couple of bites. I got 3.5 pounds inside. You can't take a couple of bites. What are you talking about here?
I have a little bit more.
What are you doing?
This is... What is this is funny?
Here's the thing. Even if they did steal that scene from that, which like I don't think it's similar, but it's not like I could kind of see how you would see that and be like, oh, I sent this to like Ben Stiller's friend, and then a Ben Stiller movie came out and it had that scene in it. To be honest, I kind of can see how you would think that. I don't actually think it's similar. I think it's just a scene of somebody offering somebody to give them food and like being persistent. But I could see it. But here's the thing. Even if they did steal it from it, what was that scene? What was happening in that scene? How was that funny?
Is the idea of that scene, is it like post-Family Guy humor where it's like a thing that's drawn out so long?
It's supposed to be drawn out. I mean, I think it was kind of supposed to be drawn out, but like it still was like, what is this?
Yeah.
That was like 2 straight minutes of him just offering him cookies and milk and him saying no thank you. What was that scene? That was supposed to be a funny scene?
I guess.
I'm like vibrating my whole desk right now. I'm assuming that people that are watching this is just vibrating. But like, what the fuck was that? And if the Farrelly brothers or Ben Stiller or whatever did steal that, why? Why would you steal that? Like, oh, look, I just saw this movie that some fucking idiot just sent in that doesn't even know that we're going to steal his whole shit. Look at this scene where for 2 straight minutes, he offers him cookies and milk and he just says, no, thank you. We got to totally take this for the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like, why would you steal that?
Like, what?
Which is what makes me think that it's a coincidence. Because why would you steal that? It's not funny. It's not a comedic scene. And also in the I don't even think the something about Mary's scene is particularly funny either. But at least like I understand what the joke in the scene is, which is that like he just like offers to have his wife go and do this like laborious thing, and he's like, no, don't go bake cookies for me, like Jesus Christ. And the guy is like insisting on making his wife do this like over the top thing for something that he doesn't even want, and it's just like making, and like the joke of it is how much it's making Ben Stiller feel uncomfortable because he's like forcing his wife to go and do this thing. And if you've seen the movie, that character is like actively, he's supposed to be his Ben Stiller's best friend, but in reality the twist of it is that he's fucking with him and trying to sabotage his relationship, and so he's like secretly fucking with him. So even if they did steal it, at least they turned it into a real joke. Yeah,
at least there's actual dramatic tension and narrative intention. Of course, the Farrellys roundly rejected Vince's claims, stating,
"We've never heard of him. We've never heard of this movie, and it's all a bunch of baloney. We wish the guy would just break into David Letterman's house and leave us alone."
The case was ultimately dismissed with Vince on the hook for paying $66,000 in attorney's fees. Vince also sued Anna Nicole Smith for $4 million, claiming that she agreed to be in Underground Comedy Movie and then backed out, negatively impacting the production in progress. The case didn't seem to go anywhere, and it's probably worth mentioning that a month prior to the lawsuit materializing, Smith was awarded $449.7 million by her late husband's estate. The movie was technically completed and released in 1999, so he bought infomercial time on Comedy Central between 2 and 4 a.m. to market the film. The plan for a home DVD release was scrapped in 2002 when he filed for bankruptcy. He went back to hawking vegetable choppers at swap meets to raise the necessary funds to get the film on a physical media release. Reportedly, it sold about 100,000 copies, enough for just not make his money back, and he used his hard-earned funds on exactly what you'd expect. That's right. He sued the Church of Scientology.
This guy, he's just like a professional grifter.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, what do you think about, I mean, so far, because we haven't even, we should discuss him like before and after we kind of get to some of his more unseemly things, because like we're going to get to the part where we kind of get into like some of this later stuff and we're just going to be like, yeah, this guy is fuck this guy. So before we get into the more unseemly later stuff, we should analyze this guy up front. Like, what do you think about this guy and like what this weird grifter / like marketing like savvy thing he's carving out?
The cultural perception of him is interesting because I don't think I realized that he was the one financially propelling these things forward. I assumed he was just a hired spokesman.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, it's surprising to me that like he didn't just get hired to be the spokesperson for the slap chop thing. Like he was like doing it out of fucking flea markets.
Which like, it's very sweet, right? It gives it this kind of entrepreneurial, like, wow, this guy really did it. The American dream, you know, this Israeli immigrant who came over here and, you know, had $1 in a dream and a whistle in his pocket or whatever the fuck the saying is. And like, really, that's not a saying, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you know that old saying, Andrew, $1 in a dream and a whistle in his pocket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I use it daily.
Yeah, daily, me too. It's an aspiration, and I really am excited about the almost kind of tragic downfall of this person, where it's like you want to be on their side and be like, oh man, that's so great that they like willed themselves into this position of financial security. And then they choose to spend the money suing everybody, being a piece of shit, and making really unfunny, ugly artwork.
Yeah,
like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, because the thing that sticks out to me is like reading this is like, he strikes me as somebody who's actually savvy. Like he kind of gets how to maneuver these things, but the things that he wants to make are just awful. Like he has a marketing and a sales savvy. You can see the vision of, I'm going to make this little sketch comedy movie that's going to have this underdog feel to it because it's independent during this time whenever indie films were like the big thing. And, people were selling, fucking Quentin Tarantino was selling scripts for $1 million on spec, which is just like not a thing that ever happened before with like a independent feature production. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to do that, but I'm not Quentin Tarantino. I can't make a real actual movie. I don't know how to tell stories, but I can string together a bunch of like fucking weird, incoherent dick jokes that will, allure the lowest common denominator, mouth breathers of society to be like, oh, he's talking about sperm. He just sucked on that guy's gun. And then like, I'm going to stunt cast it with like Michael Clark Duncan.
And that means he had to get to Michael Clark Duncan. Like that's what's crazy about it.
Yeah. And he's getting to that guy. He's in talks with Anna Nicole Smith to get her into the movie, even though that obviously didn't end up working out. He's like getting his movie into the hands of friends to like, he knows what he's doing. He's navigating these things. You can see the vision of what he's trying to do. But the issue is that when you actually look at the real thing, you're just like, this fucking sucks. This is like, everything you're doing is like impressive, but the actual thing that you're trying to sell is dog shit.
Which is kind of even, it feels to me like this is what the prequels should have been. You know what I mean? Like, rich businessman who has all this money but kind of has lost touch with reality and doesn't like conflict, tries to make a piece of artwork, and it's not good because there's no friction on him. And like, this guy also has no friction, but due to complete lack of interest by anyone and everyone, he's like, I guess I'll rent this porno set and put Michael Clark Duncan in it, and then I'll like be a Joker, and that'll be fun. Like, that's so weird and like unwatchable in a way that is fascinating.
Yeah, and just fascinating. I mean, and it also, I mean, this is, we're getting into like, this is maybe something that's more suitable for later on whenever we get into his unseemly stuff, but it's also like, it reminds me of like now where you have all these people who are just not funny. They're not funny.
Yeah.
Did you watch Joe Rogan's actual stand-up special? It's not funny. He's not a funny stand-up comedian. There's a reason why he has the number one, or I guess not anymore, but there's a reason why he for a long time had the number one podcast in the world. It's because he failed as a stand-up comedian and then pivoted to podcasting, and then that's the thing that took off. But the reason why it took off is because he was a horrible, unfunny stand-up comic. But because of his ideologies and the things that he says on his show and the types of people that resonate with that, people pretend like they think he's funny because they agree with his things that he's saying. And there's so many people like that now where people will just live a life of kayfabe that they think this person is hilarious because they agree with the message that they're saying and just the generically anti-woke thing that they're going for. And so they'll be like, this is funny. I like this. And you're like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You do not think this is funny. And there's a recent thing. I showed it to you. We were talking about it where there was like multiple like right-wing influencer people who like dressed up in blackface for Halloween. And there was one in particular who did like a whole live stream in blackface And she was the one that she got famous for saying the N-word and being like, I don't care, I'll say whatever I want or whatever. And then she did a thing in blackface. And I saw somebody on Facebook who was talking about it and being like, people are trying to cancel her and coming after her for this thing, but like they're just jealous. And this was like so funny. Like, we need more of this. We need more comedy like this. This was hilarious. And I'm like, you think this is funny? This is just like attention-seeking stunt behavior. There's nothing funny about this. She's just trying to get attention. Like, this is what you think is comedy? I'm not even talking about it being offensive. I'm not even talking about that. That's a separate thing. But even if it wasn't offensive, even if I didn't think it was offensive and I just like, yeah, it's just a joke. Blackface, it's funny. It's whatever. It's just a joke or whatever. Even if I thought that, dressing up in blackface and doing a live stream for 3 hours or whatever, where you're just like in blackface answering questions or whatever, that's not a joke. It's just shocking, attention-seeking behavior. You don't think that's funny. You're just pretending like you think it's funny. And this is what this reminds me of, where it's like, what human being on the planet could have found that sperm bank sketch funny? But people will pretend like they think it's funny because it's like, yeah, I have no boundaries. I say whatever I want. I live on the edge. And like this movie's funny because they don't give a fuck. But it's like, it's not actually funny though. Who thinks this is funny? Like I said, we'll talk about this more later on because we're definitely gonna get more into that. But I just wanted to set up that like, it makes sense that he becomes what he becomes later on because like this is the template for it.
Yeah, this is like Rosetta Stone that gets you there.
Yeah, shocking, cringy, not funny bullshit that people will just like live a life of kayfabe pretending that they think is funny because of the image and the identity that it creates for you. And then you can build a fan base off of like thousands or even millions of people who in their heart of hearts don't think you're funny, but they will align with you because of what you represent, which I would hate. If I ever found out that people who liked my work were doing it as like a weird like statement piece, I would kill myself. If I found out that everybody who was a fan of my work was like, oh, I don't actually like what you do. I just like, it represents something that I want to align myself with. So I've just been pretending like I genuinely like it for years. I would kill myself.
Vince joined the Church of Scientology in 1982. He filed his lawsuit in 2004, claiming that the church stole his vegetable chopper business idea from him. The short of it is that Vince's flea market demonstrations became so popular, he brought some of his Scientology brethren on board to expand operations, offering some of them some money for every chopper they sold. But he, more or less, left the business to make his movie, and the guys he brought on board screwed him out of the agreed-upon shares and continued the sales of his choppers. He tried to settle it within the Church of Scientology itself to avoid the courts, but they launched a smear campaign against him, saying that the underground comedy movie was quote-unquote bad art, which is so funny because
most based thing they've ever said.
No shit.
Like they weren't wrong. I mean, here's the thing: you can say a lot of things about the Church of Scientology, but they don't have bad taste.
Well, I don't know if I go that far. I've seen Battlefield Earth, but sure. The real actual courts, though, threw the case out, so it went nowhere. Failed lawsuits, a movie that may or may not have had some kind of actual profit. Either way, Vince went back to his bread and butter of hawking useless wares at flea markets and shopping malls. In 2006, taking what he had learned from buying infomercial space to try and sell DVDs, he decided to stick with selling products. He had seen a lot of success utilizing his smarmy grin and aggressive personality to sell stuff, so he leaned fully into that idea. In 2006, he decided to sell something that would finally launch his career into the stratosphere, as he put it.
I thought, why am I messing around with the young male demographic when I can probably do something a little more mainstream? Which, by the way, this is how he sounds. This is how he talks. I had sold products in flea markets before, and I thought a cleaning product would be a good idea. So in 2006, I came up with the ShamWow. I'd seen this type of product at fairs, but it wasn't well marketed. And from there, I went to this factory in Germany that made them for me. I like how in the very same sentence he says, I came up with the ShamWow, and then the very next thing he says is, I had seen this type of product at fairs, but it wasn't well marketed. Like, he says he came up with it and then immediately admits that he just stole the idea from somebody else.
Vince took $20,000 and filmed the first ShamWow advertisement in the summer of 2007. And even though many of you already know it by heart, let's watch the first ShamWow ad.
Hi, it's Vince with ShamWow. You'll be saying wow every time you use this towel. It's like a chamois, it's like a towel, it's like a sponge. A regular towel doesn't work wet. This works wet or dry. This is for the house, the car, the boat, the RV. ShamWow holds 20 times its weight in liquid. Look at this. It just does the work. Why do you want to work twice as hard? Doesn't drip. Doesn't make a mess. Wring it out. You wash it in the washing machine. Made in Germany. You know the Germans always make good stuff. You can cut it in half. Use one as a bath mat. Drain your dishes with the other one. Use one as a towel. Olympic divers, they use it as a towel. Look at that, completely dry. Put a wet sweater, roll it up. It dries your sweaters. Here's some cola. Wine, coffee, cola, pet stains. Not only is the damage going to be on top, there's your mildew. That is going to smell. See that? The most absorbent. We're going to do this in real time. Look at this. Put on the spill, turn it over without even putting any pressure. 50% of the cola right there. You follow me, camera guy? The other 50%, the color starts to come up. No other towel is going to do that. It acts like a vacuum. And look at this, virtually dry on the bottom. See what I'm telling you? ShamWow,
Definitely not edited.
Yeah, there's no way that actually does that.
I don't buy paper towels anymore.
If you're going to wash your cars or any kind of vehicle, you'd be out of your mind not to own one of these.
All I can say is ShamWow.
You're going to spend $20 every month on paper towels anyway. You're throwing your money away. The mini ShamWows are for everything, for everyday use. This lasts 10 years. This lasts a week. I don't know. It sells itself.
This lasts 10 years.
Yeah, what did it originally say? Was it higher or lower?
This lasts 10 years.
Did he originally say like a ridiculously high number, and then like the legal team of whatever infomercial company was like, yeah, we can't say that.
Yeah, we can't say that,
that's insane.
Bro. That's not how that works, bro.
Or did he say a certain number, and then at the last minute, right before they were gonna like send the finished edit over to the TV station, he was like, wait, no. 5 years isn't good enough. It's got to be 10 years. And then he like re-recorded it.
Yeah.
Either way is funny.
Also, I'm just going to point out that we were watching that on the official ShamWow YouTube channel, which was,
it was
the ShamWow guy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
that's his YouTube channel where he uploads all of his old things just to kind of be like, I'm this guy, but also all of his weird sketches that we'll watch a little bit of later, and his song parodies, and I think the entire underground comedy movie is on there. Just a bunch of really great stuff. But also it's interesting to watch that, because I think of that guy, as we were talking about before, I just assumed he was like a spokesperson for a company, and I think of that guy as like, for a time, having been this big ubiquitous thing that was like kind of like a meme before memes were fully a real, a thing in the modern sense. But watching it now, it's interesting because, number one, it's like, it's interesting to see that like the testimonials are people at flea markets. So that was like him at his flea markets things that he was doing, his like indie fucking sales thing that he was doing, and then just grabbing people off the, walking by and recording their testimonials. And also, like, you can really tell that the whole commercial is just like him, like in his fucking bedroom. Like it's like, it's a shoestring thing. Like I always thought of that as like, yeah, this is like some big infomercial. He's, some giant company and he's the spokesperson of it. But like that was shot like in his closet.
Yeah. Yeah, he put up those lights himself. You following me here, cameraman? That's his girlfriend, who immediately left him after this.
Yeah, she broke up with him that day, and she's regretted it ever since.
The ad instantly became a phenomenon. When you mentioned ShamWow, people knew what you were talking about. Vince instantly entered the pantheon of all-time great infomercial salesmen along the lines of Billy Mays and Tony Little. Weirdly, news outlets reviewed the commercials, with Slate saying of Vince,
Vince always conveys a street-smart persona, with his headset microphone, rat-a-tat phrasing, and forget-about-it confidence that's intended to get the viewer thinking, hey, this guy's sharp. He knows a good deal.
Reportedly, millions of ShamWows were sold in the first year alone. but Vince still never saw himself as a spokesperson. In an interview with CNBC, Vince was asked how he felt about being the next Billy Mays, to which he said,
"I don't want to be. I'm in the film business. This is not my career."
Still, Vince didn't venture far from his first genuine taste of success. In December 2008, he appeared in another commercial for the Slap Chop and the Grady, kitchen utensils that were used akin to what he sold at swap meets all those years ago. And while Vince threw shade at Billy Mays, now it was Mays' turn to get some payback. Mays went on the Adam Carolla show and accused him of basically stealing his whole idea. He claimed that the ShamWow was a ripoff of products like the Zorbies, and that the Slap Chop was just a really quick turnaround version of the Quick Chop.
I have a question for Billy Mays. You know our favorite, or not our favorite guy, I'm not going to say that, the guy with the ShamWow?
Let me tell you something. Hold on. I just got to just say this. Now, about 2 years ago, I had a product called Zorbies, okay? It was the most absorbent towel in the world. It is the chamois, okay? Now, what I did was I laid the foundation. Now, he came in, he built the house, and what I'm doing right now, I'm going to redecorate it. I'm moving right in. And he also has a product called I have the Quick Chop. He has the Slap Chop. But I tell you what, don't knock Billy Mays off because I'm coming after you. Vince, if you're listening out there, it's over. It's over. ShamPow. You know what? You have unleashed and have woken up the sleeping giant. I'll tell you, Adam, no, seriously.
This is your Pearl Harbor. This is a sore subject. This is evidently angry now.
Sore subject? No, let me tell you something.
It's like a wrestling promo.
Yeah, it's like wrestling promo if he was stumbling over his words every fucking 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, he's no Macho Man Randy Savage.
He's got the facial hair, but no, he's definitely not.
Well, that's the thing is like that's the old saying. If once a professional wrestler, always an infomercial spokesperson.
I have heard that, just the same as $1 a dream and a whistle in your pocket or something, right?
Yeah, $1. Yeah, phrases I use daily. Sometimes I incorporate them together. Sometimes it's like, once a professional wrestler, whistle in your pocket, $1 a dream, and an infomercial spokesperson.
Sadly, the spokesman pitch-off would never happen, as Billy Mays died just a few months after that radio broadcast. But even in the afterlife, Mays would wind up having the last laugh, as Vince's career didn't exactly skyrocket after this.
The wrong spokesperson died.
Speaking of skyrocketing, Andrew, you got something you want to skyrocket out to these people? You got something to promote?
One day, Dave. One day you'll hone the craft of the segue. Here's the thing. We're not going to mince words with you. We have some stuff to plug. Dave has some little picture books or whatever the hell. I've got a few things over here. But let's just fucking get on with it. Let's get out with the reality of the situation. We have a Patreon. Dave, I don't know if you know this. But we put a lot of work into this show. Right? And I don't know if you know this, but we don't make any money from it. We've been doing the show for almost 6 years at this point. And we make a little bit of ad money. There's ads on the show. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the listener is very well aware. I mean, if we were making $0 from the show, I think the listeners would be more angry about the fact that they've had to listen to ads. But the money we make is like enough to cover like the hosting fees and getting some writers to write scripts for us every once in a while. So here's the thing. If you want to be able to support the show, we're going to keep giving it to you for free. Always free. But if you want to support us and you want to get a little bit of extra oomph out of your deep cuts investment, you can go to bit.ly/deepcuts Patreon. We have 3 exciting tiers to back. For $5 a month, you're a junior sleuth. You get access to an ad-free version of the show and a shout-out in every episode. For $6 a month, you become a Junior Sleuth Plus. You get all of that, plus you get 10% off of merch drops. You get access to bonus content and a couple of other really cool things. For $10 a month, you become a Senior Sleuth. You get access to all of that, plus 20% off of merch drops, another tier of bonus content, a monthly live stream of the show where we will record an episode and you'll be there and we will react to your chat and you'll be incorporated into the episode, plus some more stuff. So go to bit.ly/deepcuts Patreon and check that out right now. That being said, let's do some shout outs.
Let's do it.
We got some old money and we got some new kids on the block. So one of our senior sleuths, Chic Vulgaris, thank you so much for your patronage. I'm a little confused about this request, so we're going to do our best with this right now. But they've asked that we riff something from They Live and have it end with Dave saying baby.
I don't know what that means. Does that mean they want us to like recite lines and then me?
If I'm reading through the lines here, if I'm trying to interpret the tea leaves, I think that there are referencing Rowdy Piper's one-liners. Like I've come to kick ass and chew bubblegum and I'm all out of bubblegum. I think that they're saying to riff some kind of line like that ends with baby in the way that you say it. I think that's what they're asking.
Well, I'm here to have a dream and $1 and a whistle in my pocket, baby. I guess. I don't know. That didn't work so great. I don't know. Because I feel like there's no way to beat I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass and I'm all out of bubblegum, baby.
Well, here you fucked up because you missed the perfect fucking connection here. But once a professional wrestler, always an infomercial spokesperson, baby.
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. What if it's a little vignette where we walk into a bank and we put on the special glasses and we look around and instead of aliens, everyone just has Vince Offer's face and we're just like looking everywhere and it's just his face. And then the camera rack focuses to the teller and the teller goes, "It's not a bank, it's a sperm bank," and raises a giant vat of those little vials with cum in it.
All right.
Baby.
Hey Dave, I think I'm a little hungry. I'm getting a little rumbly in the tumbly. However, I happen to know that this Arby's down the street is cash only. So we're going to have to step into this bank and get a little bit of cash before we go to what is objectively the choice that we would both make if we were to choose lunch. If I was to say 1, 2, 3, and then we said the name of the lunch, we would both say Arby's at the same time. So that's of course where we're going. It's a foregone conclusion, but they're cash only because they're in a dead zone where there's no Wi-Fi, and scientists have tried to get Wi-Fi to work in there, and they've like literally never made it out alive. Like several scientists have gone in and they've just never come out. And for some reason on that week there was like more roast beef in the sandwiches than normal. So I don't know what's going on there, but at any rate, we need to get cash from this bank. So let's go in.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. This looks like a totally normal, average, everyday middle America bank.
Yeah, you know what? It's might as well be this bank because this looks like every bank I've ever seen in my entire life. So we might as well have just walked into this bank.
Oh, wow. Look at these glasses I just found on the ground. They have a strangely alluring vibe to them, and they seem to be glimmering. Oh my gosh. Here, try these on.
Hold on a second, Dave. Are you fucking stupid? Here, you gotta fucking sanitize them with a little wipe before you put them on your fucking face. For God's sake.
Oh, good job. Yeah, good thinking.
Have
good
a wipe. I carry them with me at all times.
Thank you.
All right. Now we can put on these glasses that you found on the ground that are shimmering in an unnatural way that seems almost radioactive in a sense.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my, what the
fuck?
All the people, Dave. Everybody. The customers. The bank teller, who incidentally is Miles Teller. So I guess this is just his day job, and that's like a Tintin thing where he just, his last name describes his job. But he's not Miles Teller anymore, Dave. Everybody is Vince Offer, the ShamWow guy. It's a real John Malkovich scenario.
Look, this is such a surprise to me. I'm bowled over. I was really expecting to.
You don't sound surprised.
I'm just so disappointed that we're not able to get Arby's right now because there's no money here.
It is a crying shame, but I almost want to say that the Arby's thing is a bigger problem, but I think the fact that we're in a bank where everybody has the face of the ShamWow guy is just slightly edges it out as the biggest problem in our life right now.
Wow.
And also, goddamn, you can be in that many bangers as Miles Teller and still have to work at a bank during the day? Hollywood is fucked.
Dude, he lost everything when that fire burned down his house.
Yeah. Including his face, Dave!
Oh my god, his face is turning into a giant cum receptacle.
Oh, wait a minute. You're right. This isn't a bank. This is a sperm bank.
Baby. Smash to opening credits.
There we go. Did we nail it, Chic Vulgaris? And then I'm gonna send this one to you because this is one that you've got to read as well. I'm sending this to you in the chat. This custom message is from Michael Lindquist.
I'm Dave Baker, and I'm a clone of a banana.
Some people use their custom messages to send words of thanks and encouragement to the show. Some people use it to promote themselves and their businesses or their other, content channels. Some people use it to promote, worthy causes and important information that they want put out there, even as far as a movie from the Japanese horror movie from the 1970s. Some people use it as an opportunity to make us say really weird and embarrassing things, which is also valid and also like a good use of that. Some people use it for whatever that was. So we'll just leave it at that.
Should we do some thank yous?
Yeah, we're gonna do the rest of our shout outs here. Once again, we got a couple of we got some old money and we got some new kids on the block. We got Krista Deemer.
Thank you, Krista. Oh, my good friend Brock McDonald. We love
Brock.
Big Old Daddy Brock.
Brock entered the chat.
Brock entered the chat.
Thank you, Brock. Thank you,
Brock.
Jonathan Usri.
Thank you, Jonathan. David Hedgecock, my dear friend, David Hedgecock.
The Hedgecock. We got Vilmontis Steris.
Thank you, Vilmontis. We got
Thank you.
Hugo del Aguila?
It looks like Agula because it doesn't look like that's
okay.
It's two L's, not an I and an L.
Oh, okay. Agula. We got Hugo del Agula.
Thank you, Hugo. Tristan.
Thanks, Tristan.
Which could very well just be my brother. Who knows?
Sleep Drifter.
Sleep. Thank you. Baked Beans Garage.
Oh, thank you so much. We got Liz Banks. Big fan.
Yeah, huge fan. Number one fan. Ryan Logan.
Ooh, thanks, Ryan. Justin Wood.
I've got Wood thinking of how grateful I am to you. David Cartwright.
Did we do Chick Vulgaris?
That's the custom message we just
Oh, that's
did.
right. That was the custom message. My bad. David Cartwright. Thank you, David. Decky P.
Decky P. The P stands for positively thankful. Emily Black.
Eddie.
Spyginda.
Matthew Polito.
Shannon Talty.
Asbestos.
WWSTD.
Asbestos.
Brad Manier.
Chesty Rednuts.
The Great Sea Moose.
Batman Who Naps. Thanks, Seth.
Michael B. Miller.
Cy Geek.
Caden Parker.
Mitchell Kilmer.
Jack Stratton.
J.H.
Or Jason Hunter. Michael, oh wait, I already did that. Your Vanilla Bee.
Oh, thanks, Your Vanilla Bee. Robert Williams.
Robbie Wills. Thank you so much.
Big old Bobby Wills. Andrew Rempt.
Tasty. And Amber Tyndall.
Oh, thanks, Amber.
Thank you so much, everybody. For the rest of you, bit.ly/deepcuts Patreon.
Act 2. You'll say wow every time we go over another Vince Offer scandal. With a pair of beloved infomercials, Vince Offer did what was only reasonable of his ascent to fame: get in a run-in with an alleged sex worker. On February 7th, 2009, Vince picked up a woman at a Miami nightclub. They went back to his hotel room, where he gave her money. When he kissed her, she bit his tongue and wouldn't let go. He proceeded to punch her in the face, and afterwards, they both ran down into the hotel lobby, where they were promptly arrested. Prosecutors ultimately decided not to proceed with charges against either person. Vince's mugshot went viral, and, as one final defiant act, Billy Mays took a photo in front of it with a picture holding a thumbs up.
This was one of the last things he did before he died, was take a picture in front of Vince Offer's like fucked up mugshot where his face is all swollen and cut up, and he's doing a thumbs up.
It's pretty amazing, honestly. It's a level of petty that I can't even wrap my head around, and I love. Frankly, it's pretty great.
Our based king.
Mm-hmm.
This is hilarious.
Years later, Vince would credit the legal incident with saving his life.
Fame didn't change me. Money can buy anything. You want more girls around you.
And after years of Vince suing everyone, he found himself on the wrong end of a legal battle. Jennifer Kaczynski filed a lawsuit in 2011 after working as Vince's personal assistant from July of 2009 to April of 2010. She alleged that he stalked and emotionally abused her, as well as making comments about her as wanting to make her a sex slave. He also allegedly offered her $20,000 and paid a 1-month vacation for her parents to travel the world in exchange for her eggs. She refused, and he fired her as a result. But troubles with the law didn't stop Vince from getting his true breakout role, a brief part in 2011 Adam Sandler's comedy, Jack and Jill.
Well, yeah, we love you. Do you know what? You're the ShamWow man, right? Yeah. The funny story, Jack used to be a bedouin. No. He could have used one of these ShamWow things 20 years ago for his pee puddles. Ah, there's the yellow sheet. Where are you going, Puddles? All right, nice to meet you all.
Billy Blanks?
Yeah, he had one line in the whole thing, but she was the Jill character, which is supposed to be like Adam Sandler's character's twin sister, who's played by him in a wig, is like at a table with, I guess, Billy Blanks and the ShamWow guy. I'm trying to see if there's other like infomercial people, but it seems like it's just those two.
It's just those two. And
which almost makes it weirder.
Yeah, which also makes it is just like in an insert in the corner being like, I'm here too, guys.
Which makes it weirder. It would make more sense if like they got a bunch of different infomercial people and the joke was that she was hanging out with like 5 or 6 famous infomercial spokespeople, but it's just those two, which is strange.
It's super weird. But Vince wasn't content to star in other people's movies, or maybe he couldn't get a lot of work in other people's movies, so he ventured forth with his next project, in app-appropriate comedy. The same thing as the underground comedy movie. consisting of short vignettes and things Vince probably thinks are funny. It's part sequel, part remake, and since Vince sometimes just reuses old sketches, it's also partly underground. This includes the segment of Flirty Harry, which is just Dirty Harry with a bunch of gay stereotypes. Vince played the titular Harry in Underground, but in inappropriate comedy, he inexplicably got Adrian Brody, post-Oscar win, to be in it.
When trouble rises, and there's no one else to call, who do you turn to? This summer, action gets a little sensitive. Flirty Harry.
This is so stupid.
The joke reveal is that he's wearing pink capris.
Go ahead. Make me gay. Told you before, I am not gonna wait around for a bunch of other dicks. Not when I have an opening to take those guys from the rear.
Yeah, I read your report, Harry.
Yeah? Yeah. I don't think you understand. Those boys were packing heat. I mean, as soon as I came, those assholes opened up. Yeah, opened up and started spraying everywhere.
Yeah, I read that too, Harry.
Sorry, I know this is a heavy load.
I hate this.
I realize I'm leaving you with a mess all over your face. Sometimes you gotta swallow your pride, you know, suck it up.
Oh, come on, Harry. These are just weird phrases you use.
Well, what do you want me to say? So I went in. Yeah, I went in deep, balls to the wall. But I unloaded into both of those assholes.
All right, stop. I told you.
It felt good.
I read the frickin' report. Look, everybody in the department gets a partner.
Go ahead, make me gay.
This is so bad. It's like the Tobias Funke bit from fucking Arrested Development, but with no actual understanding of what comedy is. This is like if the aliens from Galaxy Quest tried to write a fucking comedy. Like, this is
Go
so
ahead,
bad.
make me gay.
What does that even mean?
That is what, like, I would have thought was funny whenever I was in like third grade. Like whenever I was young, and it was like, you know, whenever Titanic came out and Leonardo DiCaprio became this huge heartthrob, and like me and like other boys were just like, Leonardo decapitated. That is what like a third grader in the 90s thinks is hilarious. Go ahead, make me gay. And then it's like, yeah, and like you said, it's kind of like that joke, but divorced from any context that actually makes it a joke. Because in Arrested Development, you know, it's like a running gag where Tobias Funke is like married to Portia de Rossi's character. I'm blanking on her name within the show, but she's like a very domineering, very headstrong character as a woman. And then the joke is that she's with this beta basically, and everybody kind of suspects that he's like gay, but he's like, no, I'm not gay. I'm totally straight. And then he like says these things that inadvertently make him seem gay. And it's like within the context of this larger joke that gives it context and makes it actually make sense. But this is just like, oh, what if Dirty Harry was gay? And then he just said a bunch of like gay innuendos.
But like, it's not even like he doesn't understand the innuendos. It's just like the universe is made of like gay puns and everyone knows what he's saying. Like, it's the bit of the comedy, it doesn't work. Like, the universe is broke. Like, none of this is so bad. It's so bad.
And it's even weirder that Adrian Brody is playing the character.
Yeah. He must have just gotten so much money.
Yeah, he must just be one of those people that will just take a paycheck. Because what the fuck?
The movie also stars Lindsay Lohan, Rob Schneider, and Michelle Rodriguez. But like his first film, it was universally panned. Once more, numerous places called it one of the worst movies ever made, with The Hollywood Reporter mentioned in its review as,
"The painfully unfunny assemblage of would-be comedy sketches manages to make movie 43 look good in retrospect."
Vince's dream to be a movie guy rather than a commercial guy will forever seem out of reach for him, but maybe he just needs to stop recycling the same material from the 90s. Either way, he was probably doing okay because he continued hawking whatever products he thought could make money. In 2012, there was The Shticky, a lint roller, but the name allowed Vince to put some of that in-app-appropriate comedy in there for good measure, as well as reference his 2009 arrest. Wired called that the Dark Knight Rises of infomercials. And to be honest, we have a hard time understanding what the fuck they were talking about. He also appeared in ads for Quickie Grass and Crank Chop, continuing his signature brand of immature comedy that's pretty tame, but would make your grandmother ask, is he allowed to do that? Vince didn't fare much better with true acting. He had a voiceover role in an episode of Voltron Legendary Defender, a Netflix original show that's since been taken off Netflix because that's just a fun thing streaming services do nowadays. He also starred in The Clapper with Ed Helms. And like any white guy who feels like people don't listen to him enough, Vince started his own podcast in 2023 titled What Else But The ShamWow Guy Show. It only lasted 3 episodes, but it's clear that Vince tried to carve out a niche for himself in the ever-expanding white guy railing against woke culture market. Listen, we value our mental health too much to listen to much of that horseshit, so we'll just read you a description of episode 3, Vince discovers LGBTQ's hidden agenda.
Vince confronts and looks into why the LGBTQ folks are so motivated on going after our kids with their ideology. He thinks it's the hidden P for pedophiles, and he's going to make that point. He also introduces Sean Lennon, aka the White Rapper, who will add to the show periodically with man-on-the-street segments on various issues while promoting Vince's new and older products. Sean Lennon? What
Yeah,
is that?
like-
Is it the actual Sean Lennon?
No, it's not. It's a different Sean Lennon. But like, wouldn't that be amazing if the actual Sean Lennon just had a hard pivot?
I mean, Sean Lennon follows me on Instagram, so I gotta figure this shit out.
But those periodic man-on-the-street segments would never come. The show never had more episodes out after that. So when you think of the world as bleak as it can possibly be, at least be thankful for that. But just because Vince gave up on his own podcast quickly doesn't mean he's not in the manosphere. He appeared on Tony Hinchcliffe's Kill Tony show to do exactly what you'd imagine a Sean Lennon comedian would do.
Sometimes you have special treats that pop in. Here, to be on the podcast for a bit, this is indeed the ShamWow guy, Vince Offer.
Really? Everyone is this excited?
Is that made out of ShamWow?
Yeah, and you know.
Oh, shit.
And if I beat up hookers, I need the blood to be picked up by something.
Hell yeah.
But he's still f***ing hookers?
You know what's funny?
Did you go to jail for that?
Next question.
Tell us, Vince, what have you been up to? You're
Mark, I
such
love
an
Mark.
amazing mythical creature
Well,
of
I am
entertainment.
coming out with a new product. This is the first time I'm saying it.
I love this. I love it.
Right now, sell it.
Sell it, baby.
Let's hear it.
And I want you all to buy it because I see everybody's white here. So listen, it's called the Black Wow. It's diversity, DI.
So wait a second. It's basically a ShamWow, but it's
black.
black. Yeah. Do you have a catchphrase for Black Wow yet?
If you don't buy it, you're racist.
Oh.
Wow. He's really just doing the Lord's fucking work.
Here's this kind of weaves into the overarching point of this episode or this second half of the episode. So like, this is kind of, maybe we'll probably talk about this a little bit more later, or maybe it'll be in the final thoughts or whatever. But like, the thing that's so frustrating about this is that these guys have created this dynamic or this paradigm where they have like inextricably linked like being offended with thinking something is stupid or thinking something isn't funny. And in some ways, when some people sometimes say that something isn't funny, they mean that it's offensive. And I think that they've taken that gray area and weaponized it to like make any criticism sound like you're just being like a overly sensitive little woke snowflake baby or whatever. So it's like really hard to talk about it because they've muddied the waters of that too much. So when I say this, I'm not saying it like, oh, that was offensive, or oh, that was like, I'm not saying, I don't even need to go in that direction. That was so fucking stupid. That was so fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was just ignorant. Yeah, on like every level.
I cannot believe that. I mean, I don't believe that anybody thought that that was funny. I think, you know, it's like, oh, it's like a novelty, the ShamWow guy, but I can't allow myself to believe that anybody on this planet genuinely thought anything that he said was funny.
Vince also uploaded sketches to his YouTube page, and whatever you're thinking a sketch titled ShamWow is going to be, we guarantee you it's nothing like what you're thinking.
All right, Dave. Full disclosure. This is the reason why we're doing this episode. 30% of it was, I think it would be really funny to talk about this dude. 70% of it was, I want to just make you watch this fucking video.
Hey, it's Vince Offer. You love the ShamWow, and I know you love ham. We combined them both, and we got ShamWow. You know ShamWow doesn't make a mess. No drip. ShamWow, all mess, all drip. As you know, ShamWow keeps those windows clean for those amazing views. But what happens if the other neighbor appears in?
Hello, he's so cute.
Oh my god.
I'm getting rainbow rays from Man Girl.
Use the ShamWow. A few wipes, your windows stay blurry, and your kids stay straight.
And just like there's no MSG in this Chinese food, there's no FAG in this KID.
With ShamWow, we're going to be saying, oh, so good every time.
Good morning. Is that ham I smell in the oven?
No, it's not. I'm just enjoying my morning jerk with my ShamWow.
Made in Germany, you don't want the Chinese knockoff.
It's made in Germany, the swine capital of the world. Here, want to try it? When you're done, we'll have the ShamWow for lunch. What do you say? And hey,
Oh
take
my
your time.
God.
Like I said, super durable.
ShamWow holds 10 times its weight in pork fat. Are the kids entitled snobs addicted to their devices?
How about you come swing a club with your old man, huh?
You like my fit pops, I ain't gotta listen to you. So wander your musty ass back to your fascist white Fox News and friends.
Son, you're clearly Caucasian.
How dare you misrace me? I ain't white, I just real light skin.
Listen, my nigga, you white, you ain't black. I'm tired of this shit.
Now, slam those Gen Zs like the good old days. You can use it in the house, the car, the RV, the boat, the horse. Because it leaves no fingerprints so you can skate the authorities.
I've been using the ShamWow on all my step baby mama kids, you know? They know what's up. ShamWow, get you one.
There's actually like 2 more minutes of that, and I thought we were gonna.
That goes on for so long.
There's 2 more minutes of that. I thought we would watch the whole thing, but I feel like that's kind of all we need to watch because it kind of gets repetitive after that. So now that I'm thinking about it, it would just be boring to watch the whole thing. Here's the thing. I wanted to provide a commentary as we were watching that, but I just ended up getting kind of mesmerized by it all over again. So apologies to the listeners that aren't watching the video version of this because you kind of didn't get a sense of what was going on there. And apologies to the ones that are watching the video version of it too. Apologies to everybody for watching that. But like, there's so much going on in that video. There's so much going on in that video.
But you know what? Here's the thing, though. And I'm not defending that. That was objectively offensive, not funny, poorly made, bad. On every metric, bad. But the thing I will say, I know what's happening in this scene. I know the thing he's railing against. So in some ways, this is like the apotheosis of his artistic
He's
journey.
improved as an artist.
He actually
his voice has gotten stronger.
Yeah, his voice is actually definable now. He's railing against everything that is good and decent in the world. He's a fucking shitty supervillain.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Why? Why is it about a ham towel?
I don't know.
I agree with you. I understand his viewpoint. I understand the thing that he's trying to criticize or parody or whatever. It's very clear. The voice is very defined. It's like an anti-woke, like I'm talking about how these, woke snowflakes and liberals and trans people and gay people have like infiltrated society. Why is it about a ShamWow made of ham that you stick your dick into and jerk off with? Why is it about that?
I do not know.
Because when you first start watching it, it's that, and it's like, wow, this is so fucking stupid. This joke is so dumb. Ham wow, and it's a ShamWow, but it's made of ham. And then it just takes a hard left turn into being like anti-woke, like, oh, the neighbor across the street is a trans woman, and let's use the ShamWow to cloud up the window so she can't see us. What? What the fuck? Why? Why is it that? And also, this was the main thing that I was struck by, and the reason why I watched that and I was like, we got to do an episode about this. The main thing that I was struck by is that there's this video, and it's all this homophobic, like, oh, like gay people are bad and they're trying to like infiltrate society and turn our kids gay. But then there's just shots of him wringing out cum onto his own hands.
Ugh.
Like, you're really trying to sit here and be like, these people are gay. No FAG. But then you're wringing out cum onto your own hands?
And also,
and that's
cares?
Not gay?
Like, it's so weird that you would be this obsessed with gay people. Like, I think there's something else happening here, man. I think you got to do some work on the interior.
He's wringing out cum onto his own hands.
Yeah. It's not a big swing to be like, this guy's got some serious orientation hang-ups.
Like, he made an anti-gay sketch where he's like talking about gay people trying to take our kids from us, and then he wrings out cum onto his own hands after a dude fucked a rolled up slice of ham. Like, you're saying that these people are gay? Like, what is happening?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's one of the most baffling things I've ever seen.
It really is like a complete, just meteoric rise to unfathomable levels of crazy.
Yeah, but and the thing, and as much as you were half joking or whatever, the thing about like, oh, he actually has a perspective now, he actually has something to say, like that also feeds into it too, because that's like a thing, that's like a growing trend where you have all these people who, prior to a certain time period recently, whether it was 2020 or maybe even 2016, those were kind of like the two big inflection points. They were like people who made a certain type of thing, whether they were comedians or filmmakers or podcasters or whatever it was that they were doing before that. And they made a certain type of thing, or writers, J.K. Rowling or whatever. And then something happened and it like broke their brain. And then they just became only about that thing. And it's like, okay, it's one thing to have these beliefs or whatever. Like, a lot of people have shitty beliefs. But it's like a step further that it's like, not only do you have these beliefs or have developed this viewpoint, but like you become so obsessed with it that it's the only thing you talk about now. It's so odd. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like we get accused on this show of, and it's so funny to me because we're not particularly that political on the show. We just like say our opinions sometimes. This show is not a political show, but we also don't hold back our opinions. Like, we just talk and we kind of don't care like when we say our opinion about something. But we get accused of like being like, far left radicals or woke whatever, or like typical vegan leftists or whatever the hell that thing was. We get accused of that in reviews and comments and things like that all the time. But like, that's not the only thing I talk about. Like we talk about so many other things much more than we ever talk about politics or like social justice issues or whatever. Like we do talk about them and they are important and they're important to us. But like 80% of the time we're talking about Frankenstein.
Right, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Like it's so bizarre to me that there are people that have been so like broken by life that like they've this has become their singular obsession. And it's the only thing that they talk about now. Like my my wife's dad, you can't talk to him for more than 30 seconds before he will just somehow find a way to take the thing that you're talking about and turn it into a rant about evil Democrats or trans people or whatever. Like he can't go 30 seconds without turning it into that. And it's like, what is wrong with you? What the fuck? But that's what it is. It's like, you're like, oh, he has a defined viewpoint. He has a voice now. And you're obviously half joking about that. But to the degree that it's true, it's true. Like the thing that took him to develop a coherent voice is like his brain got broken. And now he can only talk about that.
Which is kind of a fascinating idea as an artist where like, there's this idea that all art comes from pain and like, do you have to suffer in order to be a great artist? And some people say no, and some people say yes. And I don't think you have to suffer in order to make good work, but a lot of good work is about being someone who suffers. And it's fascinating that this guy who seemingly was incapable of producing work with a perspective has now managed to refine an aesthetic and a viewpoint through a perceived level of suffering. It's like a Schrodinger's cat of artistic craft. Is it craft or is it not craft? I don't know.
And if you like, in looking into this guy, if you start to get a sense of the work that he put out, and what I mean by that is just kind of like scrolling through his YouTube channel, which he's had for years and years, so you can kind of see the progression of it. You can see like him being taken over by a virus where it's like, I'm just uploading like clips from my ShamWow commercials. And here's a little comedy sketch that I did, which is like not funny at all, but it's like, it's just me talking about dicks or whatever. And then you see this like transformation where every video is just him being like the trans people and pedophiles in the government. And like you see it like overtake him through the lens of these horrible sketch comedy videos and podcasts that he's posting. It's so bizarre.
It's also interesting too because this is not someone who's completely devoid of upper brain function, right? Like he's a guy who manifested all of this for himself. Maybe not in the way that he would have liked originally. Like he wanted to be someone who was an actor and was cast in things and was a movie star. And he ended up falling into this weird business hustle where he was like using his independently gained financial freedom in order to pay to play his way into being perceived as like a pseudo adjacent person or celebrity. And it like kind of worked to a certain degree, but then completely like broke his brain because it wasn't the proper type of fame that he wanted. And now he's just like off on this existential island by himself.
Yeah, and that's exactly it though, because like a big part of the thing that he's doing, a big part of the anti-woke thing, which is true for many of these people, is that it's a grift. Like they don't actually care about this stuff, at least in the beginning. They don't actually care about this stuff, or they don't care about it that much. It's like a feedback loop where maybe they had a little bit of an opinion like that. They weren't like secretly progressive or anything like that, but they would like say some stuff like that, and then they got a lot of good feedback. Because like as I was talking about my rant earlier about Joe Rogan and those type of people, it's like, oh, I'm not actually funny, and people don't like my jokes. People do not think I'm funny. But whenever I say these little magic words of like, here's my sketch where I go into a sperm bank and try to rob a sperm bank or whatever, and people are like, that fucking sucked. That wasn't funny. Where's the joke? But then I go and rob a sperm bank. But while I'm in the sperm bank, I say, "Oh, look at that trans person." And then people are like, "Oh, it's funny. I'm pretending like it's funny because I like the thing he's saying. And I like the idea of, I don't want to think those liberal or like, you know, non-hateful comedians are funny. I want to think this guy is funny." And he's not actually funny. He's really kind of cringeworthy and his jokes are awful, but I like the things he's saying and I want to like him more than I want to like these other people. So I'm going to pretend like he's funny. And then they see that and they're like, "Whoa, I actually got a good reaction from that." And then they lean into it a little bit more. And then they lean into it a little bit more to the point where it becomes this thing where it's all they talk about. And then I think at a certain point it breaks them. And then they become like, they fall in, they go into the house of mirrors, and then they suddenly actually start believing this stuff that at first they were just kind of saying because they were getting positive feedback from it. And then they just become that. It's like the fucking dark side. It's like it engulfs them. And not that I feel sorry for him or anything like that, but you can see that in like, he was, you know, we were reading those interviews where he was like, "Yeah, I'm not the ShamWow guy. I'm a filmmaker. That's not my career. This is just my side hustle." You see that back in the early 2000s or the 2010s or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly the timeline of when he said that. You see that moment, and then you flash forward to his YouTube channel is called The ShamWow Guy. He was introduced on that Kill Tony episode as The ShamWow Guy. He went from being like, "No, this is not me. This is my day job. This is what I'm doing. I'm a filmmaker. I'm funding my films with this stupid thing that I'm doing." And then he transforms through the years of the, you know, being beaten down by the fact that nobody likes his shit and he can't get anything off the ground. He's beaten down to the point where he's like, "No, I am the ShamWow Guy." And he brands himself as that because he knows that that's the only way that anybody will pay attention to him is if they know him as the ShamWow Guy.
Yeah, it's like I'm willing to harness any like micro bit of attention that I have in order to redirect that energy into this thing that I hope will like propel my artistic career even just a little bit further, because I'm just scraping for any type of cultural relevancy. And like, "Oh, you know me from the ShamWow days? Fuck it. Yeah, I'm the ShamWow Guy," because he's so far beyond the pale of like lack of interest and inability to reinvent himself that he's just reverting back to this version of himself that he didn't want to begin with. Like he didn't care about that version.
Yeah, and he uses that as the handshake, and then he keeps you there with the anti-woke manosphere, obsessive anti-trans, anti-gay, anti-black stuff. And it's like his whole personality is forged in this simulacrum, to use a word that I use a lot, of reinventing himself to try and just get that fame that he wanted to get with his horrible sketch comedy movies.
I mean, I think that pretty much sums it up. Do you have any additional final thoughts? Because goddamn, this is a bleak one. I thought this was gonna be a fun one, but this is a bleak one.
Yeah, no, I mean that's basically it. It's like he is a quintessential part of this microcosm of this thing that that we notice, that we've people have talked about it for years. It's been a thing. It's not, we're not the first people to notice it by far, but this paradigm where unfunny, untalented people tapped into an audience of people that would like become loyally a fan of them to the point where they pretend like they think that they're funny if they just said all of the little buzzwords that they wanted to hear, which is like, gay people are trying to turn our kids into gays, and trans people are mentally ill, and all these little things to say. And if you say those magic words, you will get a fan base. It's like the easiest hack possible right now. And hopefully that won't be the case at some point. Hopefully that will run out and that won't be the easy street to becoming a famous influencer / celebrity / comedian / whatever. But right now it really is. Like, the hard work is gaining an audience not saying that stuff, and the easy work is just saying all those little magic words, and then people will follow you even if the quality of your actual content is not particularly good. And that's the thing that you see frequently now, and to much bigger success, like, you know, #1 podcast in the fucking world, and, you know, other people who are much more famous. And it's even sadder that, like, he did that, but also he sucks so bad that even like Joe Rogan is a little bit more talented than him, to the point where he could leverage it into a genuine career. And he's just stuck down at this level of, like, begging to be allowed to have a cameo on Kill Tony.
I'm calling it now. Fear Factor, The Next Generation, hosted by Vince Offer.
Hell yeah.
On that note, I'm Dave Baker.
I'm Andrew Price.
This has been Deep Cuts. If you'd like to find me on the internet, you can do so at heydavebaker.com, where you can find my book, Halloween Boy, or Mary Tyler Moore. Andrew, where can people find you on the internet?
You can get my book, Deadbolt AI Private Eye, by going to dapricewrites.com. You can go to our website, Deep Cuts Pod. You can pick up some merch like hats, t-shirts, baby onesies, fanny packs, coffee mugs, so on and so forth, by clicking on the shop. You can follow us on social media by going to Facebook and searching Deep Cuts Podcast. You can join the Facebook group, Deep Cut Podcast Facebook group, where we hang out, we talk about the show, we post memes, so on and so forth. You can also join our Discord server, bit.ly.com/deepcutsdiscord, where we also hang out, talk about the show, make memes, play games, so on and so forth. You can follow us on Instagram at Deep Cuts Pod. You can follow us on TikTok at Mystery Treehouse. You can go to our YouTube channel, Mystery Treehouse, by going to youtube.com/@Mystery Treehouse, where we make long form video explainers. We just posted a video yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes. Yesterday, where Dave talks about The Prisoner. It's like an analysis / video essay / celebration of The Prisoner, the famed British spy TV show from the 70s,
which I repeatedly refer to as the greatest spy TV show of all time. And there are multiple people in the comments being like, "It's not the greatest," and I'm like to them, "Shut the fuck up! You're an idiot. Leave me alone."
Yep. But instead of actually saying that, you went, "Great perspective. Thanks for watching."
Pretty much.
So check that out. youtube.com/@Mystery Treehouse. You can also back us on Patreon. bit.ly/Deep Cuts Patreon. You can support the show. You can also get access to a bunch of cool bonus content and features and other cool stuff. So yeah, bit.ly/Deep Cuts Patreon.